Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and here on this channel I ramble with articulation, I hope, about a variety of different musical, video and audio elements from the videos that I watch. And today we are saying hello to Mr. Tim Foust, of course the bass singer of Home Free, but a very talented singer in his own right. Ooh, sorry, got the hiccups out of nowhere. So we're going to be looking at a mashup of two different songs, Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow and Stay. And I'm assuming I have the right songs here. They were both covered by the Four Seasons, and since this is a doo-wop arrangement, that would make sense. Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow, originally music written by Carole King, lyrics by Jerry Goffin, and this was originally performed by the Shirelles back in 1960. It made it to #1 on the US Billboard Hot 100. Was later actually covered by Carole King, and had backing vocals on that version by Joni Mitchell and James Taylor. I believe, unless I'm very much mistaken, I originally heard the Roberta Flack version of this one. The title certainly seemed familiar. It was originally Will You Love Me Tomorrow, I believe. The still was added later. I think in its very first iteration it was actually just called Tomorrow. But yeah, so that's the first song. And then Stay, if I've got the right one, is Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs. It was written by Williams in 1953, and the recording came out also in 1960s. This is a 1960s mashup. And this was also covered by the Four Seasons, and it also peaked at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, although it only got there for a week before Elvis knocked it off with something. But I did, while I was confirming dates and things like that for this, I did see one very cute story, which I hope is true. It's from Wikipedia, so I question everything I get there, you know, but take it with a little grain of salt. But it said that this was written by Maurice Williams when he was 15, and it was written because he was trying to convince his date at the time not to go home at 10 p.m. And she did, but this was what came out of that interaction, and if that's true, that is adorable. I love it. So yeah, that may well be the history of this song. So I'm just really excited to seeing what Tim does with this, because I think Tim's work is awesome, and these are two fantastic pieces of music, and I'm interested to see what he does with each one, and also what he does to make them a mashup. So, yeah, I don't have a lot more to say about these songs than that. That was what I found out. I haven't gone back and listened to them. I haven't heard the Roberta Flack. I don't even know if I've heard another version of that. I haven't heard the Carole King one. I believe it's in the musical, Beautiful, the Carole King musical. I have not seen that, and I haven't listened to the soundtrack either, or the original cast recording, I should say. So I haven't heard either of these for a long time, so it'll be interesting to revisit them through Tim's eyes. I'm very excited for it. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. If it is, the way this works, I'm going to watch this video through from beginning to end, commenting and emoting over the top. I will then go back and watch it a second time, this time pausing, interrupting, and offering what commentary and analysis I feel I can, based on the what I've just seen, the video and the audio that I've picked up on, and the foreknowledge of having seen it once before. Please do like the video, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and if you would care to support the channel, you can do so by leaving a one-off donation at buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, by joining my Patreon at patreon.com/DavidKReacts, or by leaving a super thanks here on YouTube. And any of those would be gratefully appreciated if you would choose to do them. More details at the end. That, I think, is everything I have to say about this one. So, without any further delay... Oh, no. What lies? Two things. Firstly, I'm going to remember before the video. Do check the description down below. You will see a link not only to Tim's channel, but also to the original of this video. Please do check it out and support Tim and his work. But also, this, I'm hoping, will be the very final video, fingers crossed, of my one monitor situation. I'm hoping I'll have the second one figured out by the time I record next. I'm recording these in advance because I'm going to be on vacation briefly, and I wanted to have videos loaded up, ready to go. But because I only have one monitor, there may be a couple of cuts in this video. If there's a cut that doesn't have an explanation, it's because I've been switching screens, and I don't want the video visualizer up here to do that thing where you get like an infinite number of zooms in a video, in this case of OBS recording studio. So I'm just cutting as I switch between screens. So if there is any of that, that's probably why. Apologies for that in advance. That's everything. So without any further delay, I'm going to have one of those cuts right now, and we're going to see what Mr. Tim Foust does with Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow and Stay.
Tonight you're mine completely.
That's a gorgeous opening.
Light of love is in your eyes, but will you love me tomorrow?
Oh, those harmonies are stunning. That's great.
So won't you
Woohoo! Hello, Tim. Wow! I didn't see that coming. The difference between those two octaves. Wow.
Won't you say you love me all of the time? Oh, yeah.
He really has this doo-wop sound down pat.
Please, 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 tell me you're going to. Now you've steady your mind, and your mama.
I like the idea of actually seeing the recording studio in this video.
We have another dance.
It's fun.
Just one more time. Won't you stay?
Woo-hoo-hoo!
A little bit longer. Please let me stay. You say you stay.
I like how he's playing with rhythm in this as well.
Come on and stay. Come on, come on, come on and stay. Come on, come on, come on and stay. Come on, come on, come on and stay. Come on, come on.
Oh, I like how these two fit together. This is great. That's awesome. Nice job, Tim.
Thank you so much for watching my rendition of a couple of songs that I always love sung by Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, as well as many others. This song is available on an album called Pieces of Me Volume 1, and you can find that at timfoustmusic.com. If you're interested in helping me make more of the music you love and getting some really cool exclusive perks in the process, please check out my Patreon campaign.
Do it.
It's patreon.com/timfoustmusic. Thanks for watching.
That's awesome. Well done, Tim. And holy smokes, where did Frankie come from? That was remarkable. I'm glad I picked up on the Four Seasons connection, actually. The reason I mentioned that in the intro was just because I saw that it was a group that had covered both songs. There are plenty of famous people who have covered each of them, but they had done both. And that's I did not expect to pick up on that quite so well. Or rather, I should say, I did not expect having picked up on that to pay off in any particular way. But now that I think about it, of course it did. I love that. That's really, really good. Tim is so good at this doo-wop stuff. His solo projects are fantastic, at least what little I've heard so far. And it suits his voice so well, and I really wasn't expecting to get that height out of him. Like, I knew he could sing high, but that is I don't know how much higher, but I'm sure that is higher than what's the song? Mayday. The Home Free song where he and Chance kind of swapped around a little bit, and Tim was going really unexpectedly high, and it really showed off Chance's bass. I'm pretty sure he's substantially higher than he was in that. I haven't listened to Mayday for a little while, so I can't remember quite how high he goes, but holy smokes! Interestingly short, too. Now, Stay, one thing I didn't mention earlier, Stay, when it hit the Billboard Hot 100, the Zodiac's version was the shortest song ever. It was 1 minute and 36 seconds, and actually when Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons did it, it got down to 1 minute and 30. So it is inherently incredibly short. I like the fact that it smashed really well together with Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow. I thought that was a really good choice. Great work on Tim's part putting those together. I don't know if he did the arrangement himself or if he had help with that. Let's momentary break. There'll be a cut here just while I look and see if there's anything in his description. Nope, just says that it was filmed and edited by Josh Adams. Good work, Josh, actually. I really liked the editing in that video. I thought it was really nice seeing. There was something kind of old-timey about it, but also contemporary in the sense that, you know, you often see those videos where you see, and you see it in films a lot too, where you see the recording studio at work and the engineer at work, but this time rather than, you know, there are a couple of faders, like physical sliders, but also you're seeing the digital screens as well. It seemed like a really nice way to me of tying old school recording videos, recorded in the studio, and more contemporary videos. I really like that. Let's go back and watch this again and see what I can pull out of it. This is so much fun. I like this. I needed some doo-wop in my life today, apparently.
Tonight you're mine.
I really like, there's so many things I like about this intro. I love that we get that strong but not too strong onset. The whoo, the aspirate is, it's not a do. It's not a big punchy sound, but it's not just ooh, which would be a lot softer. There is something there, but it's not too strong, which I think is a lovely setup. It prepares us for having that doo-wop backing that's going on without kind of taking it out of the level of the backing. And then when Tim comes in singing, it's a perfect fit because he's singing over the top of something that our ears have already acclimatized to, if that makes sense. Lovely choice, I think. What are the... Yeah, I think that's a 4-part chord. I can definitely hear you go hoo hoo. There's a hoo. Is there a hoo? Yeah, 4-part chord. And then we just get this lovely pure line from Tim coming in. I love the framing of this beginning.
Tonight you're mine.
Like, just, you get this lovely thing. You can see the mouth movement. You can clearly see what he's doing. We don't need to see his full face straight off the bat. Instead, we get this lovely view of his mouth, the microphone. You can see the headphones. You just immediately get the vibe for the style this video is going to take. And I think that starting like this is great because it focuses on the voice. That's what we're seeing. We're not only seeing the mechanism by which the voice is produced, the mouth, the throat, we're also seeing the microphone, i.e. the method by which it is recorded. And I think that's a really lovely way to capture the beginning of this video.
Tonight you're mine completely.
Lovely example there. We know straight off the bat we're going to get these nice rich chords. That second chord there.
Completely.
Like, there's these lovely single note movements that just adjust the chord as we're going through. I think that first one...
Complete. Tonight you're mine completely.
Yeah, I think that first one, he just takes the tonic down to the major seventh. It's just a very simple shift down. It turns it from a major into a minor chord, but we're not changing the tonality. It's just giving us a passing chord as we go on through. Lovely little subtle adjustments like that give us a lot of variety in the chords without having a lot of changes in the sound. It's still very compressed and tight to the sort of width of, or the breadth of vocal sound that he's producing right now. And it's great because, one, it allows us to focus in on the solo line without losing touch with the harmony underneath it, and two, it means that when he moves in any which way to expand that breadth, it's immediately an adjustment. We haven't gone too far too fast, which is excellent.
You give your love so sweetly.
Oh, the harmony he's written for this is beautiful. There's lots of crunchy chords in here that give us these really rich, jazzy harmonies, and they sound so good. And the voicing that he's chosen, voicing is how a chord is presented. So if I'm if I've got if I've triple tracked myself, say, with a major chord, it could just be da da dum, and I sing those 3 notes, and that's a particular voicing. It could also be dum 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 dum, and that's the same chord, the same 3 notes, just in different octaves and voiced differently, and that provides a completely different sound. So what he's done here is he's kept the voicings very tight, which is that breadth that I was talking about, but so much is happening as they move, and because they're tight, you get these really crunchy sounds. It sounds very different playing a major second, like a tonic triad with a second, so 1, 3, and 5, dum dum dum. But if you add dum dum, that second there, that sounds very different to if you're doing dum dum da da, and you put it up as the 9th instead, which is playing that second but an octave up. Opening it out makes it a lot less crunchy. It's still the same notes, but the way that we perceive the sound is different. And so he's got these very tight together crunchy chords, and that's what is giving us this really kind of rich chord sort of feeling texture, even though he's not that wide in terms of the breadth of his notes yet.
Love so sweetly tonight the light.
Oh, that progression right there, Tonight the Light.
Tonight
Listen to that chord there on night, this crunchy, slightly minor feel.
the light.
And then it goes major. We now have that sort of major 7th feel, I think it might be. The difference between those, next so close to each other, gives us such a rich adaptation, because we're hearing 2 completely different variations of a very similar chord. And that really plays with how we perceive the sound. It's almost like surprising, that second chord, because it's such a major shift, no pun intended, on the chord that we just had a second ago.
Tonight the light of love is in your eyes.
Listen to what he's doing here. Tonight the light. He sings the words full out in the background, and then it's like we're closing down again in terms of the sound produced by the backing. That's really nice.
Of love is in your eyes.
It's like giving space back. Tonight the light of love is in your eyes. But the Tonight the Light, it's just emphasizing those points by actually singing those words. It gives us a very, very different feel to the song for a second. And then we go back to vocalizations again in the backing. That's really, really good arrangement work. Oops.
Of love is in your eyes. But will you love me tomorrow?
Oh, those chords, my goodness, Tim. This is magnificent. I love that we get that lovely deep note. And we almost expect him to be tomorrow. We almost think he's going to go down. I don't know what my subs are doing today. I have that same winter cold I had a few weeks ago. If you've been watching all of my videos, it kind of went away again. Now it's actually come back. So apologies if I'm a little sniffly during this video. But we get that lovely deep note from him, and you could have expect him to drop again, knowing what he can do, but he keeps it a little bit higher.
Tomorrow.
And we get those 2 wonderfully rich chords once again. It's the way he's harmonizing this is magnificent. And it's also nice because he's got just enough breadth there that we're getting a slightly different timbre in his voice at the bottom and the top of the range of what he's singing. And so it gives us vocal variety, even though it is just him performing. And I really like that.
So won't you stay?
I really like the choice of having the sound of that switch being turned. That is absolutely unnecessary, in the sense that it didn't have to be there. But I really like that it is. It's such an interesting choice because it ties us in to the other elements of the video. To this point, we've only seen Tim. We haven't seen anything else. But actually hearing this switch turn tells us that what we're seeing now is a part of this video. It's not that we're just hearing Tim and seeing visuals of something else at the same time, we've actually had some interaction with this side of things as well, and I like that. I think that's a nice touch.
So won't you stay?
And then we get Frankie Tim Valley Faust out of nowhere. Which, having just had that really deep note, is the last thing you'd expect, which is one of the reasons it's such a great moment in the arrangement, because just poof, we suddenly jump multiple octaves up, and that's extraordinary. And what a clear sound he's got up there. This is stunning.
So won't you stay? Just a little bit longer.
And notice that we've got a much more mobile accompaniment. Boom, boom, ba-dum, ba-dum. It's moving around. It was these long legato chords. Now we've got this shifting. It's a lot more upbeat. We've gone into the tempo of the song. And it's not just that that's changed. Notice that this is how we open the shot. Here, let me go to...
So won't you stay?
We open on this totally different feel. If I go back, this is quite cold. We have this blue light coming in from Tim's left. There's this sort of pinkish colour on the right. The background, we can see the yellows and the oranges, but they're not terribly warm right now. They're faded and desaturated. If we jump to here, all of a sudden, everything is warmer. We've got this lovely orange that's focusing through. And even as we come down onto Tim, we can see the blue, we can see the pink, but notice how there's more saturation in the image right now. That switch that we had right there has brought not only the warmth of the music, the more upbeat tempo, it's also brought the colour into the shot. I really, really like that moment of changeover. I think that's a really great way of introducing a new element of this song.
Just a little bit longer. Please let me stay. You say.
I also like that idea that
Let me
here,
stay.
when we're seeing it from the studio perspective, we're seeing it in black and white. So we have these three different colour perspectives. We have Tim in the slower song, Tim in the more upbeat song, and then the view from the recording booth. That's a really interesting way of doing it. I also like that from here you can actually see the camera setup. We can see where it is, where the camera is that's recording him, or at least where the still camera is that's recording him. We can see the view of the recording software that's being used, so you can look at this and start to interpret what he's actually doing. I like that we get that little hint of it. This is a really cool blend of styles and views in this video, I think.
Please let me stay.
And notice that underscoring as well. We got ooh, stay, heh. That's very staccato feel, and then it gives us these legato stay, ooh, stay. It blends between legato, the longer notes, and the staccato, sharper notes. And I think that's a really interesting blend because it keeps that accompaniment really interesting, but he's balanced it really well because I don't find it distracting. I'm just aware that there is a rhythm happening underneath the melody, and I think that's really, really... It's a fine balance that he's struck very, very well.
Please let me stay. You say you will.
And there's that deep note that I thought we were going to get at the end of the first section of this. It would have been perfectly reasonable for him to go down there, and I really like that he saved it for now because it kind of almost gives it a little bit more punch. It would have felt a little more final coming at the end of the introduction of the first verse, the first part of the mashup, but coming here, knowing that it was set up, is really, really nice.
You say you will. Won't you place your sweet lips?
And I love that we get this, that say you will. Every Tim joins in because you have everybody actually singing those words, and then you get that ba-doom-ba-doom-ba. Really, really clean notes on that as we go into the bridge section of this. This is really nicely done.
Won't you place your sweet lips to mine?
That's really strong too, choosing that.
Lips to mine.
So you've had the boom, 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 and then we get this. It's so interesting because it's entirely in unison except for the first half. Let's call him bass Tim. is not it's carrying on the bum 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 until oh, it's not even that, is it? He comes in on the as it's moving around, but starts off continuing that pattern. So we get that sense of unison, but with the bass thing, and then the bass joins in, and we get full unison, parallel unison, i.e. they're not all on the same note at the same pitch. They're on the same note, but at different octaves. And how strong that sound suddenly comes for a second. It really kind of pierces through. It's not detracting, because there's nothing for it to detract from. It's all the same note being sung, but it gives it that real extra kind of like, it's not just pushing forwards, but it's really kind of piercing through for just for a second. That's really nice.
To mine. Won't you say you love me all of the time?
Oh, this is all just so clean. I really love what Tim's doing with this. I love that, again, he's putting in, given that all he's really doing is clapping and things like that, he's got a lot of rhythm with the way that he's using his backing vocals. So we have this section here.
Won't you say you love me?
There's a little bit in the dum 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 dum. That gives it a little bit of percussion, and obviously you've got the clapping going on. There we go. Doop doop. It gives us that punch that goes into the break very, very neatly. And then we get this.
All of the time.
And you can even hear in that ba-doom, 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 da-doom, like whatever the ba-doo, 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 those, it gives a little bit of a punch. It's a soft punch. It's not ba-doo, 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 ba-doo. It keeps it within the vein of what was there before, but just gives it a little something that gives it that kind of gives it that highlight, if you like, that just allows that to really stand out for a second, but keep that rhythmic feel going on at the same time. I like that.
All of the time. Oh, yeah. A little bit longer.
That I actually really like. The fact that this cut, it fascinates me the fact that they've chosen to show different bits and pieces. We're not just getting that view through from the studio, we're getting close-up views of what's happening, and we get this blend of digital and analog, right?
Little bit longer.
So here we have the recording software. We can hear the channels that are recording, and you can just see as things bounce.
Oh, yeah. A little bit longer.
So I'm assuming... Yeah, I don't know exactly what their shorthand means here, but I'm guessing that this is probably the primary recording track, because you can see the sound level here is quite high. We could see it flickering a lot. There's something on this one over here as well. There's definitely some ambient mics. I notice he's got pick L, pick R. I'm guessing that's pickup mics. They might be the two that are behind Tim. You saw them in earlier shots over here. It's possible that that's those. But I like that we're getting this view. This is showing the actual recording process. And then we see these analog dials, left and right, showing whatever they're showing. I don't know my analog recording well enough to know. I recognize this symbol. I can't quite see. It looks like it says VI. I don't know if this is... I'm not even going to guess. But again, we're seeing this blend between analog and digital that kind of speaks to the old style and the new style, and I like that blend. I feel like that is really strong in this video, and I think it's a very effective use of these close-ups to kind of tie that theme into the video. That's a really, really nice choice.
Oh, yeah. A little bit longer. Please, 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 please. Tell me you're going to.
Lovely little bits of embellishment and things like that. Ooh. Tim has a really nice light touch with these arrangements, where he puts in exactly what works for the sound, and I think he has a real knack for being able to make this sound legit, but also sound like him. It's very much a Tim arrangement, but it feels so authentic to the style. He does great work with these.
Please, 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 tell me you're going to. Now your daddy don't mind, and your mama don't mind.
I like this. Da da da. What I don't know the word notes, but that section and then the break. while you just hear the backing. Da da da. It gives this moment to breathe and to feel the groove that he's set up for the accompaniment vocals, and I think that's a really nice choice because they're doing something cool too, but we don't want to focus on them all the time, and it's nice to just have that moment of yeah, that's what they're doing. That's awesome.
And your mama don't mind if we have another dance, just one more time.
I love that switch. I think that's great. It's a really nice moment to do it because one more dance, he's kind of, your mum don't mind. One more, we're building up. They don't mind. We could do this. Like we're leading, we're going somewhere. It's making it, and then the jump up just kind of really highlights the end of that phrase.
The dance, just one more time.
And I love that choice there. We lose everything except the bass line just for a second. It gives us a really nice break. There's suddenly space in the arrangement where he's had a lot of tight chords and these really lovely harmonies. All of a sudden, it's just top and bottom, just for a second. And then everything comes back in again. You could play that section for somebody who didn't know who Tim was, and they would swear blind it was two different people singing. It's so good. It is just so clean, like the quality of the sound that comes out at that height. It's to be able to sing with such an accomplished quality at so many different registers is extraordinary. This is Tim really having an opportunity to show off. And I like that he's not milking the bass at the same time. He's given us those lovely deep notes, just a couple of them, but he's not really focusing on those. He's allowing himself that height. And I think it's so nice because we have this bass underneath and you can recognize it, but the focus stays on that melody line that's way up in the rafters. I think that's really, really smart work. Oh, I love that insert so much. We have these 4 come on stays, and then you get this lovely in the middle of the range, will you still love me tomorrow? And it finishes on this lovely questioning major third. Tomorrow, there's our tonic bow, tomorrow. And it leaves it on this lovely warm feeling question. Like it's a major third, it's a lovely feel, and we just get left with that. Like just gently. It's not pushing through. It's very much blending in with everything else that's going on. That's so nice. Oh, he doesn't even hit the tonic, does he? No, it's love me tomorrow. He never actually hits that tonic. That's even nicer in a way, because we don't have that satisfaction of tomorrow, of hitting it and then drifting away. We never quite get there. It's left as an even more open question than I first thought. That's really nice. And that's such a simple line. Will you still love me tomorrow? 3 notes, that's it. Ba ba ba. That's all he's singing there, but it's such a lovely line that fits in with everything that's going on around it. And we have hit right here what I'm going to be completely honest and say is the only bit of this entire thing I don't like. And I appreciate the fact that he did it, because it's quite authentic to the period, but I hate fade-out endings so much. I feel incomplete whenever I hear one of these. I'm like, where's that? It's the same as somebody going da 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 and walking away. There's something missing, and I just it's the only thing. Tim, this is wonderful. I just want there to be a button on the end of it, but that's me. That's my personal preference, and I'm not projecting that onto the quality of this arrangement at all, because it's phenomenal. This is so good. I also wanted to hear more of that note. Like, that was such a lovely note, and to be stealing that away from us right at the end, which is what happened. You would often get that in a recorded version of something, where you would have this lovely high note, or some little fancy thing, or a guitar would just start doing a bit of riffing around or something like that, right as it was about to fade away. And this is so authentic to the style, and I really, really appreciate that. Just as I say, my personal favorite is not fade out endings, but that is just me. But that is beautiful. Tim did incredible work on that. Quick cut while I switch back to my other screen. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. I'm going to cut in. There's going to be a cut-in section earlier, because this was recommended to me. So thank you. I will say thank you again, because I will have cut that in, to those who recommended this to me. I really, really enjoyed that. I appreciate the recommendation. I'm blown away by what Tim is doing with this doo-wop stuff. He's got it on lock. And I really, really appreciate the quality of what he's doing. His arrangements are great. The singing is amazing, of course. This is just all-round fantastic. Yeah, really, really enjoyed that. Great work, Tim. And thank you for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this. Hope you enjoyed seeing my insights, such as they were, or my thoughts, whatever you want to call them. That was a fascinatingly cool video, just for Tim's arrangement work and the range of his voice. Holy wow, that man, it's just incredible. It's so impressive to me what these folks can do with their voices, and Tim is up there with the best of them. It's absolutely remarkable. Well done, well done. But yeah, hopefully I brought something to you, whether it's this song, Tim himself. If this is your first time hearing Tim, wow, go and check out his stuff, and also Home Free. They're great. Or if you've seen this 100 times and I made you go, oh, I didn't think about that, but that's why I like this bit so much. Or, I never saw that little thing he did, or whatever it was. This is a fairly simple video, so there wasn't too much to bring up, but at the same time, there were some really cool elements, and I hope I brought something to you with those. That is what I'm trying to do here, so if I've achieved that, even for one person in my audience, I'll be a very happy man. Thank you very much for watching. Please do hit the like button and the subscribe button and the notification bell. And if you would care to support the channel, you can head to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts and leave me a one-off donation of any amount. You can go to patreon.com/DavidKReacts and sign up for $2 or $4 Canadian or your regional equivalent. And that will get you access to my Discord. Your name will be up here in my credits, which will be up in a second if it isn't already. There's no difference between the tiers right now, except those who are on the $4 tier get their name in slightly bigger text. It's just an appreciation thing. I am going to do more with that, I hope, during 2025. I've been saying that for a while, but I sincerely mean it. I'm just, the position I'm in life right now, it's hard for me to sort of engage too much, because I'm barely getting time to do these recordings as it is. But it's something I would like to work on, and I'm hoping to be able to develop it before the end of this year. You could also leave a super thanks here on YouTube, and any of those would be very gratefully appreciated if you would choose to do them. That's all that I've got time for this week. There's a slightly quicker recording session. I'm a little bit strapped for time this time, but nice thing was this was a slightly shorter song, so I think I was still able to do it justice. But thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Have an absolutely wonderful rest of your day, night, afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time it is that you're watching this. Let's try for 7:02 p.m. See if somebody's watching then. But I really appreciate the time that you spend with me. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.